Welcome to the introduction to Global Hospitality Management. My name is Bruce Tracy, and I have Kathy Enns, Jan DeRoos, and Bill Carroll with me from the Cornell University School of Hotel Administration. And we're going to start the conversation today by talking a little bit about what makes the hospitality industry so unique and so special.
From my perspective, Bruce, what makes it special is the combination of physicalness as well as this intellectual property or the service product is ephemeral. It's a very, very capital-intensive industry. It takes about $6 of capital to generate $1 of airline revenue, about $3 to generate $1 of hotel revenue, and about 1 to 1 in the restaurant industry. But in addition to that, capitalists need to support the physicalness of it, the service component, and all of the creativeness around the interactions with people are really important components, not just physical.
You know, I think the service component is extremely interesting because it helps us to understand both the size and the scope of opportunities in the industry. You know, about 1 in 11 individuals are in the travel and leisure business worldwide. That's a huge number of jobs. And when we start to think about jobs, I think it's fascinating that there's so many different kinds of work. We oftentimes think of hospitality as simply the waiter or the waitress or serving, and although that's extremely important, there's a variety of other ways in which individuals can have careers or jobs in the industry.
And I wanted to take off on that idea of scope and size. And let's just focus on the scope for a moment. If you think about the asset side and the human side, the scope involves a whole set of activities, from carriers like airlines and rail, buses, to destination service providers like hotels, or for that matter, all sorts of lodging, everything from B&Bs to individual homes to hotels, and activities which are provided at the site, tour opportunities. Add to that car rental, and now we talk about a complex set of activities that are included in hospitality. So if you will, the scope is wide. But then it goes the other way. There are consumers at one end who are enjoying the experiences associated with the physical assets and the human services. And at the end are the suppliers who are putting that information or putting their services together. In the middle are intermediaries who are connecting both. So it's complex scope, and it's complex in terms of the layers of the hospitality industry.
And a lot of that is sort of compounded by having this sort of ambiguous, intangible aspect of serving others. Another aspect of this is really trying to find people who have that willingness and ability to serve in fairly ambiguous circumstances under these very dynamic elements. So on some levels, you know, as a consumer, for example, there are conveniences and ease of services that I'm looking for, but to deliver that is a whole set of very complex and difficult processes, at least to execute in a very seamless and consistent fashion.
Yeah, I almost didn't want to down the industry and say it's too complex. The good news is it's really a growing industry. If we just looked in the aggregate and we said, hey, this industry potentially is growing slightly above gross domestic product globally. So there's opportunities for investment, and there's certainly opportunities for employment.
Although I think this notion of growth has to be kind of readjusted a little bit depending upon how we define growth. And I think that contributes to the complexity. A good example, for example, is in a lot of mature markets, and that's a lot of the developed part of the world, the industry has a growth rate that's relatively small compared to that of other industries. So we look at it and we say it's growing, but it's not growing everywhere, and it's certainly not growing at the same rate, which allows us to appreciate the complexity. You know, there are these emerging markets. We frequently talk about China, for example, as a huge growth opportunity. So I think there's tremendous growth both in terms of the business and in terms of the number of customers we're going to hit, but not necessarily in North America.
Yep.
You talk about the complexity. In my mind, this is still a simple business. I'm away from home. I need very human needs taken care of. You need to get me there. You need to house me, take care of me, and safely, and you need to feed me. What's complex about that?
I don't think it's that simple. I actually think that as a strategist, what's really exciting about trying to come up with new strategies in hospitality is to find those points of difference, to take that and perhaps I do agree with you, it's fundamentally simple. But what we try to do when we create new strategies for operating businesses is to find all those points of difference, those great opportunities for new choice, and make it, in a sense, more nuanced, more customized, more differentiated. Plus, we're managing all these costs simultaneously. So the whole notion of targeted products, targeted customers means you really have to start to understand who is the customer, where is the customer, what does the customer want. And I think that creates a level of complexity that takes us a little beyond sort of the fundamentals of what we provide as services.
Well, I was going to ask, doesn't that make it difficult for the investor? There are, our leisure properties or event properties or whatever else. Is the complexities there?
I think what the best of class investors know is that everybody woke up this morning and said, what am I doing vacation? Nobody woke up this morning and said, what hotel am I staying? What car am I renting? What airline am I taking? Everybody's talking about the memories and the experience, and much less so about how it's produced. And that's what's really exciting to me about this industry.
Isn't that what's distinctive about this industry? We deliver experiences. And if we do it right, we kind of make people feel better.
And doing it right takes a very
Exactly.
interesting sort of set of skills to be able to balance
Yes.
all these different competing demands that we face, and really look at it through very integrative kinds of lens when you've got consumer, you've got owner, investor, employee kinds of concerns to balance over the course of time. And given all those moving parts, it certainly can be very, very challenging. But the exciting thing is that you really create these lasting kind of memories that really do influence people for a lifetime.